Hello, and welcome back to Ayaron's world. Well, the mob spawner is still working, which is good. I haven't actually been collecting that much gunpowder recently. Oh, this is a full chest. I think I need to do something about that at some point. Not right now, though. I've got other things I want to do. So, here is the... Oh no, I was going to add the iron cage to that, wasn't I? People were suggesting in the comments that that would look better if I filled in the bottom of it. So I've got another 8 iron bars. I haven't got any torches on me. Torches. There we go. And that will make a little room for some gunpowder. There we go. I've got to work out how to split up that everything chest. You know, a nice, what I need is a way of separating the stuff out, but also working out what sort of blocks to put the various things on top of. Like, I thought I could put a chest on top of some melons, and then that could be a food chest, which would take, and that could have things like wheat and melon, etc., etc. But I have to think of something, for a mob drop. It's a shame you can't pick up mob spawners with silk touch. Right, so I think this will look, and I agree with people that it will look better if I fill in the lower level like this. There we go. Because it's those iron bars are 3 high, so they don't feel like they're crowding my head at all. And that looks better. So that's my water break from up there. Okay, it's just turned night time. Let's make it be day. It just means it's easier for you guys to see what's going on. Okay. I wanted to work a bit more on the top of this tower, because it's been here a while now, and I've not actually changed this room at all. So this was me running a test to see how glass panes work when they go around the corners and so on, and I thought it worked okay. So I'm going to start chopping out wood, which is where I'm going to be putting glass blocks and glass panes. So this is relatively laborious, but needs to be done. So the plan I came up with was to try and... Do I need to show you from the outside? If you guys remember, there's glass panes running up to underneath those things. The stone was simply there to mark where the top of the glass windows were, as you can see there. So this is like a solid wooden column running up, as is those two. That's like a solid wooden column running up. So my plan is to continue the solid wood like that up the sides, and this one will continue at an angle up that sides, and the rest is going to be glass blocks for the floor and glass panes up there. So it's probably best if I just, start. And I'm going to start on this side because it's going to be easier to view once we get outside. Now the only problem is going to be lighting. Can mobs spawn on glass? I don't think they can. So I don't think I have to worry too much about lighting. So anyway, right, so that's going to be a glass block, that's going to be a glass block, that's going to be a glass block. This is how it's going to work. And I've got some glass blocks on me. I don't know if I've got enough to finish this project, but I've probably got enough to sort of show what it's supposed to look like. So I'm just trying to work out the basic shape of this to start with. Like, I know that the glass goes straight out from the top of these things. And I'm trying to work out whether or not I want a wooden rim round the outside. Let's put some glass panes in here. That's going to be an issue. Because if I put these things, there's going to be a gap there. Even if I put a glass pane there, it's going to be a gap. Unless I come in with it like that. But then it becomes a question of whether that should be wood, you know, to make a solid wooden rim. Let's do this on this side. And we'll take a little look from outside. Okay. That's so much quicker than going down the stairs. Right, let's be careful in case we get creepered. Interesting thing in the I'm not using the development snapshots myself, but I'm watching people's previews, so I know what's coming up in the next version of Minecraft. And one of the things that's coming up in the next version of Minecraft is an upgrade of the mob AI behavior. And there's going to be various things like zombies. Well, all the mobs are going to have better pathfinding. So rather than just, you know, running into the corners of things and going, ugh, they will actually find their way around obstacles and kill you. There's also introducing ocelots, which are wild cats, and you can tame them to make house cats. And the interesting thing is they've made creepers be afraid of cats, which is really interesting because it means that if you tame cats so they follow you around, they'll keep you safe from creepers. Or you could station little cat stations around your base and it would keep creepers away, which I think is fantastic. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So you can see already how it's going to work. And I'm just trying to work out, do I want a solid wooden rim? Now I think there's going to be a solid wooden rim there at the top. Like those cobbles are going to be replaced by wood again, so it will look like there's a solid wooden rim there. And then it's just a question of, is it going to look like it's floating too much if I replaced those bits of wood with glass as well? I think I'm going to leave the wood and make a solid wooden rim, and then I can always remove it later. It's harder to remove glass until I get something with silk touch, because the glass will break if I try and pick it up again. So, right, where are we? So that and that should have been wood. So I'm going to have to break some glass, I'm afraid. So that and that I think should be wood. So I'll have to remember that I should chop out the walls first so I can work out where the solid wooden rim should be. Right, so that's obviously going straight out from... so this wood is going straight out from there. So there's also wood going straight out from there, which means that I want that, so I don't want that. So we chop this, and this, right, solid wooden rim, so it's just these two, which become glass blocks. Ah! Okay, fell down the stairs. Let's make sure I've got full regeneration going. How's that? I think I have to do the other side before I'll know whether or not I'm getting it right or not. So, you're wood, you're not. And you're not. The solid wooden rim means that there's a lot less glass floor than I was expecting. But I still think it's the best way to do it. Because otherwise it just seems... I like my buildings to look like they have structure. That, you know, were this the real world, they would actually be able to stand up against their own weight. So I don't like just, you know, floaty glass things with no means of visible support. But considering the sides are just glass, it might be okay. Although I wanted a wooden... Did I want... Yes, there was going to be like a wooden rim at the top. So having a wooden rim down there would like give it a bit of symmetry. So wood, solid wooden rim, wood. Then this becomes glass. I'm just going to work my way round, I think, so we can sort of, you know, see the complete circle of it. I mean, obviously, you know, those are going to be chopped all the way up, but just for now. And then, if this is to be a solid wooden rim, then this one can go. But that one needs to stay. And then I chop these up. And that's all going to be filled in with glass panes coming up from the edge. Okay, so we chop this one out 3, put that one out only 2, throw our glass blocks down, and chop up the edge. I think, should I start filling in my glass panes already? I'll leave them for now. Right. Just trying to work this out. So here again, so we're losing this, but we need our solid wooden edge, so we lose that one. That one, but not that one. Is that right? Yes. Well, if I'm doing them right and even, we should get the same shape everywhere, shouldn't we? So that's a 3x3 with a 1 there, that's a 3x3 with a 1 there, that's a 3x3 with a 1 there. That's probably going to be an easier way for me to visualize what it is I need to chop out of the floor. So, let's get to that. High speed or something. Now I've got the visualization down. It's 3322. Okay, so I've not put the glass in yet, but it should be able to give us an idea as to the structure. I mean, it's things like this that worry me, because the outer rim of the circle is obviously across that on the diagonal, so I could make it look like it has a I could make it look like that it has a wooden ring round it, while still making that one glass. But then my glass panes are going to have to come in, otherwise I'm going to have a gap. Now the alternative is that I don't use glass panes. I could use glass blocks running up the sides of this. It's a lot more expensive in sand, but if it's going to look better, then it's worth doing. The reason being, of course, that if I put a glass block there and a glass block there, there won't be a gap in between them, and then I won't have to come in like that, so that could be glass. I think it's worth actually demonstrating that, so so people know exactly what the option is. So I would make the wooden rim, rather than by coming in, that would be a glass block, and then these glass blocks would be used for the sides all the way up. As I said, the advantage is that I can keep my wooden rim nice and thin. It means the glass panes won't encroach into the room the way this one is. Disadvantage is glass panes, you can walk right up to them, so you can sort of see out of them a bit better. Glass blocks, I'd be pushed back there a bit, but that may not be an issue. I mean, if the whole thing is glass anyway, then I think it's okay. So if people tell me which they prefer, well, and of course the third alternative. So option 1, I use glass panes running up the side. I make my wooden rim like that, so it actually comes in, which does mean it, it'll look slightly less circular from underneath, because it'll have like that zigzaggy thing. And the glass panes do that. Option 2 is more or less the same, but I actually put a glass block there, which keeps my wooden rim nice and thin, and the only thing I've got is the glass panes jutting into the room ever so slightly on these corner bits, but not too badly because they don't take up the entire block. And this is option 3, which is that I build the windows up the side with solid glass blocks. So I'm going to make it be day, and we'll have a look at what some of those little corners look like from underneath. Oh, I forgot about my quick way down. Here we go. If you wonder why I never say anything, while I'm in bed and night's falling, it's because that's when I'm taking the opportunity to drink some tea. Okay, sword out. Prepare to defend ourselves from creepers. There aren't any. Okay. So, at this corner, that's an example of the... that's not been chopped out properly there. Okay, but... So this is sort of showing, that the wooden rim would only be thin. It's like that would be wood, that would be wood, that would be wood, that would be wood. Those would not be wood. And then that's an example of using glass panes. And you can see that from underneath, you can see the glass panes jutting in. I don't think it would look too bad. I mean, you could only really see them jutting in if you're closer than that. And when you're closer than that, you're not really going to be looking up at it that much. On this side is the solid glass blocks, and as you can see, you get the thin wooden rim. Again, that would be wood, that would be wood, that would be wood, but all those would be glass. And you don't get the jutty in thing. But I don't think glass blocks look as good as the panes, because the glass blocks are going to mean that the outside of this is going to be flush, whereas the panes gives you that sort of a bit more three-dimensionality because they go in a bit, so it sort of, you know, adds a bit more interesting shape. And up here, that's what the wooden rim is going to look like if, you know, if I keep it solid. And I really do think that that doesn't look as good because it just doesn't look circular. So I'm going to leave the tower like that for now and wait till I get feedback from you guys as to which you prefer. So I'm going to put the glass away. Glass, glass, glass. Okay. Now, one thing I wanted to do was explore the terrain around here a bit. I was trying to decide whether to do that before or after the new update, because the new update might bring in jungles, which hopefully will appear in the, you know, in my world. So I could do that, or I could build something else. How long have I been recording? Okay, I've got about an episode so far. You know, I mean, there's a slight sped up sequence up there. It's quite difficult to judge, you know, when I'm going to be speeding up sequences, you know, like when I'm doing building stuff like I did up there. You know, you've got to sort of try and subtract that from the amount of time you've been recording so you can work out how long the episodes are going to be. Okay, I've just realised I've got 8 experience points. I was doing some caving, so obviously I've killed enough stuff. So I think I should make myself an enchanted tool of some kind. And I think I'm going to enchant a bow. So let's make a brand new bow. I need string for that, don't I? Because I might get infinite arrows, or do more damage with the bow. You know, all sorts of good stuff. So there's some sticks. No. Utter fail. There we go, that's how we craft a bow. Right, so one bow. You can't enchant arrows. One thing I was thinking was that the chests you find in dungeons and strongholds and so on, they still only contain stuff like a few bits of iron and maybe a bucket. Now we have magic items in this game. Am I the only one who thinks that chests in dungeons should have magic items in them? You know, like, you know, they could be like random between power 30 and 50 magic items. I mean, that is a find in a dungeon that would make you excited. You know, you see a glowing sword and you're like, oh wow, you know, what's this going to be? That's worth something. Anyway, all right, here we go. One bow. I have 8 experience points, so there we go, an 8. Let's see what we get. Damage 1. Not brilliant, better than nothing. Okay, at least my bow will do a bit more damage now when I kill stuff.